evening, and thanks for tuning in. This is News 12 at 6. I'm Christine Bagley. Our top story tonight takes us to a small island off the coast of Denmark. A team of scientists and researchers from the University of Virginia in Charlottesville has been visiting the island of Samsø. Samsø has become famous as the most environmentally friendly place in the world.
I'm standing here on the beautiful island of Samsø, about 12 miles from the Danish mainland in the North Sea. I'm surrounded by wind turbines and some very excited scientists. This is simply amazing. We don't have any alternative power project on this scale in the United States. This place is years ahead of us.
That's Dr. Albert Franklin of the University of Virginia. He's here along with a group of researchers from the university to learn from Samsø's success in becoming the greenest place on Earth. These wind turbines harness the immense power of the weather in this windy, remote island. The wind turns these huge windmills behind me, and the motion generates electricity. In fact, the turbines create so much electricity that they supply not only the 4,200 residents of Samsø, but the mainland of Denmark, too. By selling electricity to Denmark's power grid, the islanders claim to be carbon negative. Here's Dr. Franklin again.
Carbon dioxide, or CO2, is a natural gas. However, human activity is releasing more and more CO2 into the environment than ever before. Too much CO2 is bad because it's a greenhouse gas. That means carbon dioxide is responsible for global warming. CO2 is emitted from power stations that burn coal and oil to make electricity, cars, planes, fertilizers, and even some types of food production. It is possible to reduce the amount of CO2 you put into the atmosphere by planting trees or using renewable energy, for example. These are called offsets. If a country makes more CO2 than it offsets, it's called carbon positive. If it offsets more than it produces, it's called carbon negative.
And Samsø is the most carbon negative area of its size anywhere on the planet. Here are some numbers. Each American is responsible for about 20 tons of carbon dioxide every year. That's the highest figure of any nation. Each Dane produces about 13 tons. Samsø is 140% carbon negative, which means that each resident actually takes out carbon from the atmosphere. They calculate this by adding up all the green energy they produce and subtracting the few carbon costs they have from cars and other forms of transportation.
Look at this system here. This is the way humans can live in harmony with nature.
Dr. Franklin has brought me to the central furnace. That's basically a very large oven which burns straw to heat the homes of Samsø.
Straw is just dried plants, and those plants take CO2 out of the atmosphere. So straw is carbon neutral. Now, if you burn straw at a very high temperature, it pollutes very little, and it can heat the houses. But it gets better. After the straw is burned, you are left with a gray dust called ash. This ash is a great fertilizer, so farmers spread it on their fields. That way they don't need to buy fertilizer. The process of making fertilizer from oil releases CO2, of course. The ash fertilizer helps the plants grow, and the plants make straw, and we're back to the furnace. A fully renewable, carbon-neutral cycle of energy production.
It's cold and windy. It's always windy here, it seems. But everyone's excited about carbon on this island. Samsø made this remarkable change to renewable energy as a result of a competition. In 1997, the Danish government held a competition to find an island with the best plan to become carbon neutral by 2008. Samsur won the competition, and the rest is history. With a little financial help from the government and the European Union, of course. But environmentalism has also been good business. The Danish government buys Samsur's wind-generated electricity at such a good price that the farmers who swapped crops for turbines are already making a profit. And that's not counting the money the islanders save from not buying gasoline, which is 2 to 3 times more expensive than in the U.S. Did we mention biodiesel?
Biodiesel. Here's another case where one environmentally friendly idea creates a whole chain of green consequences. Take canola, for example. That's a plant that grows easily here, and also in the U.S. If you press the canola seeds, you get canola oil, which you can use as biodiesel. So, no gasoline-based diesel. But after you press the canola seeds, you have a green mash. You can then give this to your cows, which means you don't have to buy feed. Feed is imported, which means transportation carbon costs. Your cows produce organic milk and cheese, so you can live off the land.
This is what environmentalists call self-sufficiency. Samsur can survive by producing its own energy and food. It doesn't need a lot of imports, and fewer imports mean less transportation, which damages the environment by producing carbon dioxide. This all helps Samsur's carbon budget, which makes Dr. Franklin and the other Americans here very jealous. On the island of Samsur, Denmark, I'm Christine Bagley for News 12.
Welcome back to College Health Watch. For those of you just joining us, our topic today is nutrition and eating healthy. Earlier this week, I walked around our beautiful campus and asked some of the people I met to tell me about their eating habits. Let's listen to a few of those interviews. Hi, are you a student here?
Yes, I am.
Do you ever cook for yourself?
I haven't tried cooking since I came to college because I don't have a kitchen in my dorm, so I usually eat in the cafeteria.
How's the cafeteria food?
It's not bad, and it's pretty cheap. Some of my classmates complain that the food's greasy, but it tastes okay to me. They added a new salad bar last year. You know, lettuce, tomatoes, peppers, that sort of thing. I guess it's good that there's always a healthy choice, and I have some vegetarian friends who really like it. But salad isn't my thing. It's kind of boring.
What other dishes would you like to see on the menu in the cafeteria?
I'd like to see more international food, you know, like Chinese or Thai or Indian. I think you can really learn a lot about other cultures through their food.
Hi, Professor Harris. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions for our radio program?
Not at all.
You have a large family, don't you?
It's not too big. My husband and I have 2 kids. Jenny's 7 and Dave's 5.
And who does the cooking in your family? Do either of you have time for that?
Well, we don't actually have much time for cooking, but I do it anyway, because we really want the kids to learn good eating habits.
Can you give me an example of what you mean by good eating habits?
Sure. We don't let them eat fast food or drink soda. Actually, Jenny doesn't even like drinking soda. The problem, though, is vegetables. Both kids would prefer not to eat any vegetables at all, but they won't refuse to eat them if they can't see the vegetables. Soup, for example. They don't mind having vegetable soup because they can't see the carrots and peas and everything. My husband enjoys cooking, too. He loves making spicy dishes. His curry is great. But the kids don't like spicy tastes. They must be too young. So I end up doing most of the cooking.
Do you ever go out to eat?
Not much these days. It's really expensive for all 4 of us to eat out, and my husband refuses to get a babysitter. Also, you know, it's not easy to take the kids to a restaurant. They don't sit still for long, and they're kind of loud. I can't stand seeing other people looking at our table.
Your restaurant is pretty popular with students and faculty on campus. How would you describe the food here?
Oh, we have some different styles, but mostly Italian. Great pasta, fish, a Lots of fresh fish and seafood. But we're really famous for our gourmet pizza. It is absolutely the best around, and everybody loves it.
Do you try to cook healthy food?
Of course. All good food is healthy. Seriously, we only buy the highest quality ingredients, but many of the dishes are a little high in fat. But I took a course recently about nutrition and healthy eating, and the nutritionist said something very interesting. She said that restaurants could help people to eat better if they served smaller portions. And I was thinking, when I was in France and Italy, I did notice how much bigger American servings are. So we started serving smaller portions, and our customers seem happy with that.
What type of people come into your restaurant?
All sorts. Students, of course, but families with kids, too. Parents without their kids, young couples, older folks, everyone really. It depends on the day and time. Sundays are our busiest day. A lot of families come in for brunch. That's a mixture of breakfast and lunch we serve in the late morning. We have a jazz band. It's a lot of fun. On school nights, we mostly get the college crowd and couples who don't have kids. And on a weekend evening, we might get families early in the evening, say around 6. Then the crowd gets a bit older as the night goes on.
What do you cook at home?
At home? I don't cook. I don't even have a kitchen.